Welcome back to this detailed breakdown of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. This is part 6 of this series, and my god, we've got a long way to go. So let's get down to business, shall we? But before we do, you can find the playlist for all the previous parts of this series on my channel, and I have provided all relevant links below. So go back and check those out at your leisure once you're done with this video. Now, before we go on, there are a couple of mistakes I wanted to address that I made with the previous part of this series. When I spoke about the number of the Final Order's star fleet, I said 10,000 times 100 Star Destroyers equals 100,000 Star Destroyers, when in actuality, it's 1 million bloody Star Destroyers. Also, I misheard JJ's favorite Hobbit mouth, dark science, for dark signs. Somehow I drew the word signs from the word science, and I have a bloody degree in that piss-soaked field. Right, now we've got that out of our systems, let's progress. With Star Wars Episode 9, we left off at Discount Tatooine, otherwise known as the Forbidden Desert of Pasana. As I said previously, this festival of the locals occurs once every 42 years. Not only is this extremely convenient that our heroes arrive exactly as it's going on, but C-3PO points this out to them because it apparently suddenly knows the history of the whole bloody galaxy, instead of just standard protocol, since he's a simple protocol droid. And yes, we will get to that, but again, this festival exists simply to advance a plot point, which couldn't have progressed without it. Finn even points out how lucky this is. I don't know why he'd think that, since I don't see how this festival favors their mission in any way, but it is indeed lucky for the First Order, and we shall get to that momentarily. Now look, this is Star Wars. We like seeing all sorts of fascinating alien creatures and customs. It's part of what makes Star Wars so unique and wondrous. This festival is pretty neat, even if it's just pure spectacle and served for plot convenience. I thought it was pretty cool. Anyway, Rey says she's never seen anything like this, which is a nice little nod to her upbringing in almost complete isolation on Jakku. But then Poe spouts some verbal bullshit to set up the next plot convenience that doesn't make any sense in the first place. He says, there's always random First Order Stormtrooper patrols in crowds like these, so keep your heads down, especially Chewie. What? There's always random patrols in large crowds? Why? What the fuck would the First Order care about these creatures for? Not to mention, this diarrhea of a line now gives JJ an excuse to insert a Stormtrooper action sequence or attack at his leisure, whenever he needs to push the plot along, or stop the audience from asking questions. Seriously, First Order patrols roam random crowds on a random desert planet that has no significant resources or interest? That's where the First Order are committing their troops? This makes no goddamn sense, and continues to make the First Order look like fools. But once again, how very convenient. Anyway, Poe says they should split up and see what the locals know. Rey watches children of the alien species laughing at what looks to be an intergalactic Italian puppet show, until a random alien grabs her attention and starts speaking an unknown language to her. The alien bestows upon Rey a curious necklace with the symbols of their culture. Again, Rey did nothing to provoke or deserve this attention. Perhaps the alien just wanted to welcome her specifically because she's visibly of a different species, but again, very convenient for the progression of this movie. C-3PO tells Rey what the alien is saying. The alien told her their name and would like to know Rey's family name too, to which Rey responds with, I don't have one, I'm just Rey. And we all know what bullshit that line is setting up. Rey Skywalker. And then conveniently, Rey senses an incoming force connection from Kylo. She combs the area until he finally confronts her. He's just chilling in his room. That's it. He's just chilling there. Maybe he touched the mask of Vader again, which initiated the force connection like it did before, but he ain't touching it now. Not to mention, Vader's mask as a catalyst to initiate a force connection is bullshit to begin with. He tells her Palpatine wants you dead. Again, confirming Palpatine was resurrected to be a senile idiot, because according to later in the film, he wants Rey alive to further his own gains. So why does he want her dead in the beginning?
The Rise of Skywalker, it doesn't answer anything.
Rey jabs back at Kylo. You serving another master? I actually like this line. Rey's questioning Kylo's manhood and ability to think freely and independently. He served Snoke, and now, as it seems, he is subservient once more. But Kylo insists he has other plans. He also goes on to say, I offered you my hand once. You wanted to take it, why didn't you? Calling back to The Last Jedi and the throne room scene. Rey deflects the question, telling him, "You could have killed me, why didn't you?" Also calling back to the throne room scene. The two are challenging each other's perspectives. Kylo's claiming Rey wanted to join him on the dark path, and Rey is claiming that Kylo was venturing back towards the light. That throne room scene, being as ridiculous as it was, gave each character a window into the other. And it also gave the audience a window into each of their perspectives as well. I like how neither character denies the accusation from the other, instead opting to, in layman's terms, change the subject. And people tend to do this when they don't want to face the truth for whatever reason, and as we soon find out, there is an element of truth in both of their accusations. Kylo tells Rey she can't hide from him, speaking metaphorically and literally, though she is unaware of that at the moment. She thinks he's only calling her out for what he perceives to be the truth, and Rey counters, "I see through the cracks in your mask. You can't stop seeing what you did to your father." Something that was scarcely even mentioned or explored in The Last Jedi. Thanks for that, Ryan. Not to mention, she uses the cracks in his now fixed mask as a metaphor. Once again, another jab at this guy straight from JJ, and those are the best types of metaphors, aren't they? The ones that politely tell Rian Johnson to fuck off. Anyway, Kylo deflects her remark, shifting the focus to her asking, "Do you still count the days since your parents left?" Kylo's preying on her weakness, perhaps her only weakness. That Kylo would know, and come to think of it, Kylo, much as I'd hate to say it, knows Rey better than just about anyone, and vice versa since they've both looked inside each other's minds. Still, killing your own father in front of another person who saw said father as her own mentor can't somehow be twisted into this horse shit. I don't care how you slice it. But I digress. Kylo, knowing what his own father meant to him and fully aware of how his actions haunt him, knows Rey's own pain from the separation and longing for her own parents. That haunts her too. The pain and sorrow he can exploit to turn her. And then he says, "I don't want to kill you. I'm going to find you and I'm going to turn you to the dark side." I never understood why you'd tell someone what you're going to do to them before you do it, especially if what you're going to do is not very nice. The only example I can think of a villain doing this, effectively, mind you, is Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. But when Bane does it, he always does it face to face, moments before carrying out his threat. But the way he says it is so cold and assertive that it doesn't even come across like a threat at all, but something that instead will certainly come to pass.
Touch him, then I will kill you. Follow him.
Follow him.
Then I will break you. Oh, your buddy!
Which is why it's so chilling when Bane does it. Kylo does not possess the same tone and presence as Bane, especially after the last two movies. But I do like how Rey counters his threats by telling him, "We'll see," which is a subtle callback to their first encounter in The Force Awakens when Kylo interrogates her.
I'm not giving you anything.
We'll see.
And then in a split second, Kylo yoinks Rey's newly acquired seconds-old space necklace right off her person. Like I said, when Kylo told her she can't hide from him, he was speaking literally as well as figuratively, as he was approaching her slowly so he could nab the necklace without her realizing it. This sets Rey into a panic because now Kylo can analyze the necklace, assess its planet of origin, and track Rey to Pasana, which Kylo does, but we'll get into that. And conveniently, Rey's connection to Kylo is severed, so she can't grab it back. But in addition to that convenience, how convenient is it that the random girl gave Rey the random necklace on the day of this once-in-42-year festival, just seconds before Kylo established a connection and needed to track her there. That's a convenience level of over 9,000 lightning bolts striking the same spot. Rey then tells the others they need to, quote, retreat to the Falcon. Poe asks her why, and then she tells him it's Ren. Why would you go back to the Falcon? Didn't you land in that village looking for the Wayfinder to begin with? Not to mention you've beaten Kylo twice, shouldn't you have some confidence to stay on course and press on with the mission? I figured Rey would say, we need to get moving. Let's find the Wayfinder and get out of here. Kylo Ren is coming. That seems like a more logical thing to say than, hey, let's just retreat to the Falcon. Anyway, back to Kylo. He's readying his fleet and telling General Pryde to tell the local stormtrooper division on Pasana to start searching for Rey. The very random stormtroopers Poe mentioned that were just conveniently hanging around. And seconds later...
Hold it right there.
Yep, those random plot-pushing stormtroopers show up right on cue. Convenient. And the lone stormtrooper attempts to call for help when he's brutally shot in the eye by a crossbow bolt from the distance. JJ offered this poor soul up like a sacrificial lamb just to serve as a grand re-entrance for Lando Calrissian. played by Billy D. Williams, the original actor, who is here, in the flesh. Lando says Leia sent him a transmission so he knew they were coming. Rey asks how he found them in the crowd, and Lando tells him Wookiees stand out, before giving a warm embrace to Chewbacca. Okay, deep breath. I'm fine with Leia warning Lando that they were heading for the desert. I'm fine with Lando identifying them because of Chewie, even though the placement of the stormtrooper was complete bullshit. But this raises a shit ton of other questions of where the hell has Lando been? What's he doing there now? And why did Leia wait so long to bloody contact him?
The Rise of Skywalker, it doesn't answer anything.
So we are left to assume Lando's just been chilling in Pasana, a random desert with harsh living conditions and scarce resources this whole time. But we'll get to that. C-3PO tries to explain this is General Lando Calrissian. Leia tells the droid,
10 lashes. 1!
Yeah, we know 3PO. And then Finn tells Lando it's a true honor to meet him. Well, at least one legacy character is being treated with some respect, aside from Leia. Even though his reinsertion and involvement makes no fucking sense, as we are about to find out. Not to mention, the way Finn addresses Lando feels very much, at least to me, like a not-so-subtle implication of passing the torch, so to speak. You know, the new meets the old, and it's like, wow, I've heard so much about you. So nice to finally meet you, and the legacy character instructs them to fulfill their adventure because they are the heroes now. This isn't really an objective criticism, it's just a personal gripe I have. I find it to be very cliche. Poe tells him, General, we're looking for Exegol, and Lando tells him, of course you are, as if he already knows about the planet and what they're looking for. Now, this could have been because of Leia's transmission to inform him of why they were there, and what they were looking for, and that would have been acceptable, but we learn that's not the case as he shows them a hologram of the Sith Wayfinder, and he outlines that he is in the desert of Pasana because years ago he traveled there with Luke Skywalker searching for the Sith Wayfinder, and Lando also says there's only 2 left. He also says that they were tailing an old Jedi hunter called Orgy. Yeah, I don't really know how to pronounce his name, so I'm just going to keep going with Orgy. Again, how Lando knows how many Wayfinders are left? How Luke learned about the Wayfinders outside of reading textbooks, who the hell Orgy is or where he came from, we have no idea.
The Rise of Skywalker, it doesn't answer anything.
Not to mention, damn, doesn't that just sound like the best bloody Star Wars flick right there? Jedi Master Luke Skywalker seeking out a Jedi hunter with former General Lando Calrissian. God damn, that sounds like some science fiction Riggs and Murtaugh shit right there. We missed out, boys and girls. We missed out big time. Anyway, Luke and Lando made their way to Pasana to find Orgy's ship. They searched the ship. They couldn't find the Wayfinder, so they just gave up. And Luke left Lando in Pasana to have mutant elephant babies with the elephant people. And Lando's just waiting there for 30 years, away from the conflict, Han's death, Luke's death, the fall of the New Republic, just to wait for Rey to arrive there and point her in the right direction? What a fucking joke. This doesn't make any sense. Why would Lando stay? Or what's he even doing there? He simply needs to be there to advance the plot and tick a nostalgia box for JJ's 9th episode mess as he attempts to stitch up a trilogy with 1,000,000 bullet wounds.
Do not take me for some conjurer of cheap tricks.
So anyway, Rey asks, is Orgy's ship still there? And Lando tells her, yep, it's out in the desert where he left it. Yep, sure. 30 years unattended, no one's stolen it, scavenged it or stripped it for parts. Nope, the ship has just been sitting there gathering cobwebs. This whole desert sequence is one hot, steaming pile of convenience. It's insane. How do these people get paid millions of dollars to write this garbage? Then again, I shouldn't be surprised since they also win awards for killing franchises too. And not just any franchise. Even the ones that are over 40 years old and are an integral part of Western film history, for fuck's sake. Hollywood is an absolute joke. Anyway, Orgy's ship has been chilling out in the desert for 30 plus years, and Lando's been waiting within driving distance of the bloody ship these past 30 years as well, just so Rey can solve the problem that Luke Skywalker and Lando were apparently too stupid to solve on their own. And they quit so easily, and left the problem in such an easily accessible setup for the new and better Disney heroes to finish up what they started. Before we are given the option to ask any more questions than the bazillion we already have, the First Order begins their assault. The fighters start flying down from the sky, and Lando Calrissian looks out the window, sees these fighters, and just blurts out, I have a bad feeling about this.
Do not take me for some conjurer of cheap tricks.
JJ, if Lando's seen the fleet, why would he say that line? He knows they're coming. He doesn't think. Obi-Wan said it when he thought there would be trouble. Obi-Wan said it again when he thought they were about to die. Han Solo said it when he thought they were in trouble. Hell, even you got this right with The Force Awakens when Han Solo thought they were in trouble again. The only time I can think of where this line has been used inappropriately as a reference is Attack of the Clones, when Anakin blurts it out despite knowing they are facing an execution, and the Geonosians have brought 3 very dangerous beaks to rip them to shreds. Just like Lando knows the First Order are coming to kill or capture him and the rest of Rey's party. See? I can criticize the prequels, despite many people saying I never do, or that I simply can't. Well, there you go. The prequels are still awesome, sue me. But yes, back to Lando, there's no reason he should say this line. Him saying it makes him sound really stupid. He should have immediately told them to flee to their destination as quickly as possible, and with much more urgency. He does tell them to do this, but it's just so casual. Not to mention, he still opts to have another one-on-one exchange with Rey, the context of which really annoyed me in the cinema. Rey tells Lando that Leia needs pilots, which Lando should already be bloody aware of, given that the First Order is in power. Not to mention Han Solo, his best fucking friend, is dead. Lando tells Rey, my flying days are long gone, but do me a favor, give Leia my love. And then Rey tells him to give it to her himself. Okay, first off, Lando, are you not aware that Han Solo died? You've been in this fucking desert for how many years now? You've been in contact with Leia, as mentioned earlier, receiving transmissions, and you're telling me that you didn't go to Leia to mourn Han Solo and Luke Skywalker after Disney massacred the both of them. You just let Leia grieve alone and didn't even bother to try and help? Lando, you're a fucking dick. And of course, Mary Sue to the rescue. Despite all of that, it just takes 5 seconds of Rey dialogue to convince him to leave this shitty desert where he has needlessly dwelled for the past 30 years and join the fight, when he should have left of his own damn accord 29 years and 364 days ago, because last I checked, Lando Calrissian wasn't a complete fucking moron, and he actually gave a shit about his friends and the galaxy as a whole. He blew up the second Death Star. He essentially won the war for the rebels last time. And now Rey tells him in the most casual way to get off your ass, and Lando just looks down at his feet and is like, yeah, alright. They just can't stop ruining the old to make way for the shitty new. Not to mention, with everyone just flocking to Rey's character, as characters often do with the Mary Sue, just so damn likable for no reason. Why does Rey even need the Jedi mind trick anymore? She just needs 5 seconds of words in order to get people to go home and rethink their life. And we still have so much left to go through, but thankfully this ends parts. Thank you everyone for watching. Don't forget, part 1 through 5 can be found on the playlist on my channel. If you'd like to see part 7, be sure to pass this video along. In addition to that, I have another ongoing response series called Revenge of the Prequels. There's currently 11 videos in that series. It's a rage-fueled but thoroughly argumentative response series that specifically responds to creators that exhibit poor argumentation towards the Star Wars prequels and have been for years. Check out the series if you are curious. You may find it cathartic, or at the very least, you may find it entertaining. And there's one more series you may enjoy, the Dumb and Dumber series. If you were as pissed off at the final episode of Game of Thrones as I was, you will most certainly enjoy that too. And they should more than bridge the gap for the next video. The last bit of content I have ongoing is a weekly podcast that usually contains a dissection of various articles, videos, or a civil debate with guests, including other content creators and members of the channel's Discord server. Would love to see you there, so keep an eye out. I want to thank Kyle Phantom for assisting with the audio edit for this video. I've linked his channel below, check him out. Before I go, a quick shout out and thank you to all of my patrons. You guys are fantastic. I appreciate all your support towards me and my work. We have just hit the first Patreon goal, as a matter of fact, and there will be a video made to commemorate that soon. If you'd like to support the channel and my work, you can donate to the Patreon, even if it's just $1 per month. It goes a long way in supporting creators like myself. And another special thank you to all of my YouTube members. If you are watching, thank you to the Star Killers, the Captain Prices, and the Master Chiefs. You are all mad lads and lasses, every single one of you, and I appreciate the support. If you'd like to become a channel member, click the join button and see if it takes your fancy. Any and all memberships help me out a great deal as well. And being a member, you'll get recognized more easily in the comment sections. You'll have perks for the weekly podcast and Discord perks as well. Now, if you would like to contact me, you can tag me on Twitter. I'm pretty active there. Or even more preferably, you can join the channel's Discord server. What Discord basically is an online community where other followers of this channel go to have discussions about a large range of different topics, ranging from Star Wars to anime, Marvel, Lord of the Rings, video games, and several other topics as well. I highly encourage you to check it out, and who knows, maybe you'll make some friends along the way. Now, with all that said, thanks for staying to the end of the video. I appreciate it very much. You are a legend, and I'll see you next time.